Okay, I'm going to talk about enemy spirits. Now, we may think of the enemy in Christian context. This can be very in various ways. Okay, um, sometimes we don't notice it in ourselves. Sometimes we notice it in other cultures, but not in the culture of our own. Um, Sometimes we notice it in a sibling but not in ourselves, or a family condition, but you don't notice it in your own self. Okay. Um, I'm not a person who studied a lot of psychology, but some people have studied quite a bit of it. That involves people that have studied narcissism, people that have studied schizophrenia more in depth than myself. I have only touched the surface of psychology topics. I've definitely worked in healthcare long enough to kind of know the general just of what is what and why these things happen and don't happen in some people and not in others or whatever. So, um, I believe there is an enemy spirit. Just because now, just because a person is a relative, just because a person is married, just because the person is not married, that doesn't mean that person is legitimately good entirely. Okay. I mean, what I mean is there's a certain sort of blindness inside of man in general. It comes from Adam and Eve. Okay. Like, for example, in the Bible, it talks about Korah in the Bible. Now, Korah, there's a Korah from Esau, a descendant of Esau, and then there's a Korah that was judged by an earthquake type thing. I'm not going to find the exact passage for you. You probably would know what I'm talking about if you know the Bible well enough. Anyway, Korah was judged. Okay. There was an enemy spirit from within. Maybe Korah noticed it. Maybe the Korah didn't notice it. I don't know. But um, only God only knows that. Okay. Who else is there? Were other times where God judged people, um, despite them being wonderful in the eyes of man. Absalom, he was a wonderful man, and he was wonderful in the eyes of man, but he was judged. Um, you know, even Solomon himself, he had all of those wives, but God eventually judged him and judged the nation of Israel. This is old stuff, but anyway, what I'm saying is that we are human. We are a part of humanity, and humanity makes humanity look good. Humanity keeps doing things over and over and over again, and we end up with the same results. Do you know how stupid it is to constantly do the same thing over and over and over again and end up with the same results? It's like, why is there anti-Semitism in this world? But there's many different Jewish people, and sometimes Jewish people have vary in their opinions and beliefs. And this is the Gregorian calendar 2023. Um, some people have more far lefty beliefs. Like I would consider Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the left side of beliefs. Um, and some people are more right leaning. Okay, I would consider Ben Shapiro be fairly decent on the right leaning. He's more of a libertarian right leaning than a full on right right leaning person. There's various Bible belief right leaning Jewish people who do not put up with colorful flag marriages. They don't believe in certain anti Israel agenda things, stuff like that. Okay, so um, me personally, I side with the people who are more right leaning among Jewish people. And they know they're Jewish. They aren't just like a fraction of a percent or something like that. They're a full on Jewish. They aren't like um, an 1/1000th Jewish or something, which nearly anyone could have that if they're of a certain ancestry background. I mean, we all have some sort of cousin nature anyway. So, anyway, that being said, we live in a different world today than we did yesterday, but we still have the evils of today. And this could be in Christian world, in the Christian moral world. Okay. I'm being real, but there's a reason why some people are opposed to the modern Christian music industry. I understand why. It's because they're so lopsided and confusing, and they are not legit scripture based musician. And the writers of these music things, I wouldn't even play them in my own church. But the enemy is out there to try to deceive us and to try to call that Christianity when it's not. It's a deception. And I hate to say it, but my own children fall for it too. I mean, when there's something that looks more entertaining than just a Bible, they'll want to go for the fun child looking toys rather than the actual scripture. Anyway, there's a deceiver around in this world. Okay. Um, I would try to do everything in my power to remove the enemy, but the enemy is here, and he's trying to do his best to destroy humanity in whatever way he can. Um, just mere ignorance of some things, but in distortion of truth. There's definitely distortion of truth in the OB department stuff, women's health. Yes, God does want women to choose life. If they're a Bible believer, they should. But the enemy will tell women to do evil things to their body, and they will give in to the enemy's plans. And I can't do anything about other people. I can only say that if you're a Bible believing woman, you would believe in the choose life belief. Um, and there's an enemy even in pro-life people. There's wicked people that, if you have 10 children or 11 children or whatever, but then you ignore a close relative's basic social need. They needed a house for a while because they had a domestic violence incident or something, and you didn't try to provide it, and you had the money and the means. I mean, like, seriously, what is the point? You were pro-life, but you didn't really want to help somebody else in their need. So there's an enemy inside of people. And obviously there's the pro-choice extremes. They want to remove every child. They don't tell you the truth about hospice babies. Yes, there's hospice babies, but they say that let's just stop the pregnancies before they even get to the hospice neonatal conditions. That's an enemy. Of course there's hospice babies. It's a genetic problem of Adam and Eve. Okay. Anyway. Okay. Me personally, I'm not perfect, and I don't expect anyone else to be perfect. But when there are some people around that like to act good, but they don't admit what's true about themselves, okay? Just say something true about yourself. What is your height? Okay, something basic. Um, do you have a backbone that works? Are you able to walk upright? Okay, just something true. You can't lie to yourself for that long and get away with it, literally. So we live in a world that's filled with deception. I mean, we can deceive ourselves in general. I mean, I can believe that I can um, handle raking 5 neighbors' lawns, but in reality, I could barely handle my own for some odd reason during a different time of life, different things going on. Okay, so um, anyway, just think about how we live on this world and there's a deceiver around. It looks fun to try to battle the deceiver on your own, but you really can't. Okay. Um, Not every situation is the same, and as far as a reason why certain mental health problems happen or don't happen. Like I said, I've only barely touched the surface of psychology problems, but I said maybe there's something deeper inside. Maybe it's some stuff that people are feeding themselves as far as information, and that can be causing some of it. Okay. Information you tell yourself. That's part of the problem. Could be. So, Um, we lie to ourselves a lot, and you might think that pride only exists in colorful flag people, but it can exist in ourselves, meaning we know the dates and the timelines for so and so, but we don't know the timeline for what it really shows. Okay, what is it really? You can't be someone else. You can't, you can only help them. You can't be them. Okay, so um, there's various deceiving things and in-laws, and you know, like there are people that show this psychology. I hear a lot about it these days. It's called something called narcissism, and it's like, well, this has actually been an enemy that's been around for many years. Um, King Herod would be an example of, in the nativity story, of a narcissist, you know. Um, and then, yeah, there's enemies against Jesus in various ways. There's political enemies. Those are political enemies. They've been around for a long time here in America. Definitely in America. No one can say they're not in America. Otherwise, you would everyone would be getting along right now, and everyone would agree. Obviously, they play games. So okay, all right. That's all I'm gonna say for right now. But don't follow the enemy's plans. When you notice it and you recognize it as a scam, don't go near it. Don't support it, even if it's college level stuff, college level intellectual stuff. Okay, have a good day. Bye.